This is a fantastic scene setter, I think, for many of the countries in the region. Typically a moment to talk about resilience in a fragmented world. That is one of the big themes as we sit down today. We heard last night at one of the dinners that Dubrovnik was somewhere that had fared particularly well in the old era in a fragmented world. What are the lessons of old that apply today?
Actually, I think many of the lessons from Republic of Kyrgyzstan still apply today, because indeed one point was openness to the world, trade relations, skillful negotiations, and we believe it's important to continue this openness to the world. It's important to ensure rules-based international order, because at the end of the day it's better for everyone than turning inwards and moving towards the world where might is right.
I'm glad you brought up rules, because rules is exactly what the courts in the United States are now talking about, whether Trump's tariff policy was illegal or not. And we've got a pause now from the appeals court after some pushback. Where does that leave Europe, which has a clock ticking down to July 9 in terms of negotiating tariffs, if they could be illegal?
Well, that I would say adds another layer of uncertainty. We're already negotiating in quite uncertain environment, with things changing quite rapidly. But from the EU side, in any case, we are committed to find negotiated solution with US, because EU-US trade relationship is largest in the world, so there's lots at stake economically. So we believe we have to find a solution. We have until 9th of July, and this is a spirit in which we are currently negotiating.
But if these tariffs are considered illegal by the courts, and we know that Europe is very much a fan of a rules-based system, if you continue to negotiate around tariffs of 50%, even 10% that are illegal, it suggests that you don't respect the courts.
As you were just mentioning, currently apparently appeals courts left the tariffs in place for a time being. So, and these legal proceedings are ongoing. I cannot give you now a detailed legal assessment from our side on the situation, because those are court processes in the US. But as I said, for us it adds another layer of uncertainty.
How urgent is it to reach a solution when you have countries across Europe that are now showing some of the uncertainty of investment decisions, knock-on effects? I was talking to someone here last night that even countries that just deal with Europe in terms of trade mostly are now being impacted by core nations in Europe that are slowing down business with other European nations. So how urgent is the tariff situation in your view?
Well, certainly it's an urgent situation. We have clear economic assessments that tariffs are affecting negatively European Union, and actually even more so United States. So also from that point of view, it would be important to find mutually acceptable solution to minimize those negative economic effects.
We are seeing multiple threats crop up on a daily basis, and the latest one is around foreign investment into the United States, a small provision in the big beautiful bill, Section 899, and whether that could penalise foreign investors if they're part of a jurisdiction where tax is viewed as punitive. Is this a gift from Trump to Europe? Because I know that you want more European savings to go into European investments. If there is another door in the way of foreign investors into the United States, is that positive for Europe? Is it a gift?
Certainly it's another issue which we need to address. What we are seeing already for last half a year or so, that with President Trump administration things are changing rapidly, and so we need to be able to follow those developments, and we need to be able to find some solution, because this uncertainty already in itself is a factor which is freezing investment.
I want to ask you about the fiscal needs for Europe, because those fiscal needs are growing, and we're talking now about the potential of getting to 5% in terms of broad-based defence spending of GDP. That seems like a very high hurdle for a lot of the countries that are attending this conference today, some that have even the highest fiscal deficits to tackle in Europe. What do you say to some of those nations about getting to a 5% level?
Well, first of all, in current geopolitical situation, when in Europe we are faced with aggressor country Russia, which is waging aggressive wars, and everything indicates that they continue to militarize their economy further. More than a third of the budget is spent on military. Industry is being ramped up quickly. Recruiting of military is being ramped up. So it's clear that we cannot rely or cannot feel secure unless we ourselves substantially ramp up our defense capabilities and defense industries. It is just hard reality. So indeed, we are not anymore in a situation where we were maybe since collapse of communist bloc, when we were having this so-called peace dividend, and we could afford spend less also on defense and security because we were living in a more peaceful world. This is not the case anymore, and that's a hard reality. Yes, it is costly, and it brings us with difficult fiscal dilemmas, and we were kind of factoring in those fiscal dilemmas when we were coming forward with this Rearm Europe Readiness 2030 initiative, which can mobilize up to 800 billion euros of additional defense spending over the next 4 years. We framed also this additional fiscal flexibility both in terms of volumes and time, keeping also the fiscal sustainability considerations in mind.